Okay, I'm at 667 East Mitchell Avenue, doing a sanitary lateral inspection for the purchase of a home. We're looking for any structural issues, root intrusion, anything that may be of concern to the buyer. Our access point here is the main stack coming down. There's an inspection hole installed, big enough to get the camera through here. I expect it to be cast iron as it goes through the floor, and then most likely switch to clay, which there it is. Based off the age of the house, it should be clay all the way out to the street. The most common thing we see with clay lines is root intrusion, and that's due to the watch. You'll see these connections about every 3 feet, and so it's pretty normal. Those 3 feet over the years, as they get older, there's so many connections, and the packing in those connections can kind of shrink or break down a little bit, and so it just allows a little bit of root intrusion. Usually some little small finger roots is how it starts. And, as long as you maintain, do some regular maintenance on the line, it's not a major issue. But it is pretty common to find. But as long as the line is structurally intact, it is something that can be maintained relatively easily. See, there's a little bit there coming in. If you can look off in the distance, just a little bit getting in there. There's a little bit of water here, but it's not an issue. That camera lens is only about a ½ inch off the bottom of the pipe, and so this is kind of, doesn't take much water, you can see, to get just barely over that lens. This is not enough water to cause any issue. It's just there, because the line's flat. And so sometimes when you pull back, you can see better, because as you push, you're kind of plowing it up in front of the lens. So. So far, the line's looking really good structurally. Only one spot that had a very, very minor amount of root intrusion, and that was so little that there's nothing you can really even do about it. It may not have been, it could have been, because of how far off in the distance, it could have actually been some spider webs. But we'll see if we can take a look at that on the way back. We're coming up on some PVC. Looks like some. And we are already at the main, so that PVC is right there. It's the tap on the main, and that line looked great, especially for its age. I was expecting, because there was a big tree in the front up by the street, I was expecting to see some root intrusion. And we made it all the way to the main here at 89 feet or so, 88, 89. And that line looked wonderful. Didn't see any structural issues, no root intrusion, no not even any low spots in the line. This line looked really good. I mean, for its age, it's very surprising that there wasn't at least something. And so this is really good news. Now, of course, we can't inspect every. There's a couple lines that come from like floor drains in this downstairs toilet as soon as you come in. We're unable to get through the little small short branches, but this line looks really, really good. As you look back, I mean, you can see even the connections. You might see a little bit of an offset there, but this, as you can see the lip of that connection, that is due to the fact that they are turning down. As they get deeper, and they would use these, use the connections. They moved around enough in the connection that they were able to get small turns and grade with just moving the connection around a little bit. And so it was pretty versatile as far as how they could make turns. They didn't have to use fittings all the time. And so when you see these little exposed edges, that's all it is them, you know, slowly getting, either turning it down and getting deeper, or some of them turn to the left and the right. But you can see in the bottom left-hand corner the grade. It's showing the angle. Minimum is about 1%. You need to have, it's 1/8 of an inch per foot, which is roughly 96, you know, a foot of drop every 96 feet of length. So it's roughly 1%. This is pretty consistently staying over that. This is really exactly what you want to see out of a clay line this age. This just looks really, really good. Trying to get back here so we can make sure we can see past where that is. And there you go. A little tiny bit of root intrusion there at about 24 feet is where we're sitting. It's right over top of us. So there we go, we can see it. But that is very, very, very minimal. Like I said, you couldn't even put a chemical treatment in there or anything at that point to even get to that. Cleaning it would be a waste, because you wouldn't even, most likely you wouldn't even be able to do anything to that. It would just, you know, you wouldn't be able to feel it. It's 24 feet, and that is the only tiny bit that we've seen. There's a little tiny, there's a little couple little hairs there. So minor, it's really barely worth even mentioning that it's there. You may want to take a look again in a few years and see if there's any, see if the root intrusion has increased at all. See if any of it's grown anymore, but I mean, it's not an issue at all. This is all just at the very beginning, I would say, of root intrusion, but nothing at all to be worried about. We're up at the and we are out of the line. And so that line looked wonderful. Structurally, the line is fully intact, and Has great pitch, no issues at all. It does have that tiny bit of root intrusion on the top of the pipe at about 24 feet on the video. That is, again, so minor that it's there's nothing you could even do to treat it, or even preventative maintenance at this point. So the only thing I could recommend is maybe in another 5 years or so, have it inspected to see if the roots have grown any further, but that's not an issue at all at this point. And so just kind of, I would keep an eye on it in a few years just to make sure, but that line looked very, very good for its age. So that'll end the inspection at 667 East Mitchell Avenue in Cincinnati, Ohio.